Are you exhausted from feeling tossed around by every minor setback, emotional trigger, or unexpected twist life throws at you? Do you crave a mindset so fortified that nothing, not criticism, not sudden changes, not even your own doubts, can knock you off your path? In this video, we'll unveil 15 powerful Stoic principles straight from the teachings of Epictetus and other ancient philosophers that will help you remain unshakable no matter what storms you face. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, pursuing self-improvement, or yearning for deeper inner peace, these Stoic lessons are the ultimate blueprint for mental resilience. Picture yourself untroubled by life's chaos. You navigate stressful workdays with a calm and focused mind. You remain composed during family disputes, and external events, like market crashes or personal disappointments, fail to unmoor you from your sense of purpose. This is precisely the level of inner tranquility promised by the Stoics, and particularly emphasized by Epictetus, who believed that the key to peace is recognizing what we can and cannot control. In today's, we'll journey through 15 Stoic principles that can serve as your armor against life's unpredictability. You'll discover how to focus on what truly matters, free yourself from destructive thought patterns, and cultivate a fortress of emotional stability that no external force can break. So, settle in for an in-depth reflection on how to transform your perspective, reinforce your resilience, and forge a life driven by wisdom rather than turmoil. Let's dive right into the teachings that Epictetus and the wider Stoic tradition have passed down for centuries. 1. Understand what you can control. One of the cornerstone teachings of Epictetus is the clear distinction between what is within our control and what is not. Our actions, reactions, and attitudes, these belong to us. Everything else, be it other people's opinions, external events, or random misfortunes, lies beyond our control. When you recognize this fundamental truth, a sense of freedom emerges. You realize that worrying about external factors is futile because you can't shape them. Instead, you focus on what you can change: your response, your efforts, your mindset. This single principle alone has the power to free you from unnecessary distress and self-inflicted suffering. Picture a traveler caught in a downpour. He can't control the rain, the wind, or the temperature, but he can decide how he'll respond. Will he grumble and curse the weather, or will he calmly adapt, perhaps using an umbrella or enjoying the sound of raindrops? Epictetus would urge us to cultivate composure in the face of factors we cannot alter. By directing our energy only toward our sphere of influence, our thoughts and deeds, we begin to fortify ourselves internally, so external chaos loses its power to upset us. 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. A robust way to build mental fortitude is to occasionally and deliberately experience discomfort. While it may sound counterintuitive in a world that prizes convenience and ease, challenging yourself with small hardships strengthens your resilience to life's unforeseen hardships. Epictetus taught that by voluntarily confronting a bit of cold, hunger, or temporary inconveniences, you condition your mind to remain steady when true adversity arrives. Perhaps you try intermittent fasting, or you decide to take cold showers. Maybe you practice sleeping on a simpler bed for a weekend instead of your luxurious mattress. These minor self-imposed difficulties develop your capacity to face life's bigger challenges without panic. By training yourself in lesser trials, you gain confidence that you can handle more formidable troubles with a balanced, unemotional approach. This practice is like weightlifting for the mind. It's uncomfortable at the moment, but the long-term strength and resilience it generates are invaluable. 3. Embrace the present moment. Stoics emphasize the futility of ruminating on the past or worrying excessively about the future. Epictetus and other Stoic philosophers teach that the only arena we truly inhabit is the present moment. The past is gone, no amount of regret can bring it back, and the future is always uncertain, only shaped by what we do today. To live stoically is to give your full attention to what's in front of you, whether it's the work task you have at hand, the conversation you're in, or simply enjoying a moment of solitude. When you fixate on what was or what might be, you lose the power of now, squandering mental energy on what you cannot change or predict. By returning to the present, you gain mental clarity. Worries begin to dissipate because you're anchored in the only space where your actions hold immediate significance. This is where peace truly resides. 4. Remember the impermanence of things. All things, whether possessions, relationships, achievements, or even our own bodies, are subject to change and eventually will fade away. Epictetus encourages us to keep this knowledge close, not to breed pessimism, but to foster gratitude and detachment. By remembering that everything is temporary, we learn to cherish what we have now without clinging or becoming overly dependent on it for our emotional stability. When you remind yourself that a treasured object can break, or that a loved one may someday depart, you're not sinking into gloomy thoughts, but equipping yourself to live more fully in the present. You savor the time and experiences you share, knowing they are not guaranteed forever. Ironically, it's this acknowledgement of impermanence that makes each moment more vivid. You grow more appreciative and far less devastated by inevitable changes that come in life. 5. Separate opinion from fact. Epictetus was fervent about the idea that most of our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our interpretations of these events. We layer our judgments, biases, and negative assumptions onto neutral facts, turning them into sources of emotional turmoil. A simple misunderstanding in an email, for example, can trigger a whirlwind of anger or anxiety if we hastily assume a negative intent. To adopt this Stoic principle, pause and evaluate. What actually happened here, and what story am I telling myself? Distinguish raw facts, the email said X, from your personal judgments. They must hate me because they used a short sentence. By isolating facts from opinions, you regain control over your emotional response. This practice leads you to base your feelings on reality rather than on imagined slights, misunderstandings, or unverified assumptions. You build a calmer, more grounded approach to life's daily interactions. 6. Practice negative visualization. A hallmark of Stoic training is negative visualization, deliberately contemplating worst-case scenarios. Far from being morbid or pessimistic, this exercise helps you mentally prepare for difficulties and reduce shock when misfortunes do happen. You envision life without your cherished possessions, your health, or even certain relationships, not to become depressed, but to grow in gratitude and resilience. For instance, if you're anxious about losing your job, you might periodically imagine your life if that were to happen. How would you cope? What steps would you take? By laying out a mental blueprint of your response, you not only lessen the fear of the unknown, but also sharpen your readiness. Then if the worst does come to pass, you're emotionally and pragmatically prepared, making it far less catastrophic than if you had never considered it at all. 7. Focus on virtue over outcome. Epictetus teaches us that our worth does not hinge upon what we achieve or fail to achieve, but rather on our moral character and the excellence with which we conduct ourselves. In a world obsessed with outcomes, status, money, recognition, this Stoic principle is a refreshing reminder to prioritize who you are becoming over what you are obtaining. When you concentrate on acting with integrity, kindness, courage, and wisdom, success becomes a byproduct rather than the measure of your value. You'll navigate life with a steady internal compass, unshaken by temporary triumphs or setbacks. Win or lose, your sense of self remains intact because it's grounded in virtue, not external validation. This shift in focus from results to character radically alters how you tackle challenges and respond to the inevitable twists of fate. 8. Control your emotions. Through reason, Stoics are not about suppressing feelings, but managing them through rational understanding. Anger, fear, envy, these emotions become destructive when left unchecked. The practice of Stoicism encourages you to analyze your emotions. Why am I angry? Is it truly justified? What's the source of this fear? By doing so, you bring the conscious mind, your faculty of reason, to the forefront, where it can reframe or diffuse a volatile emotion before it dominates you. Imagine you're cut off in traffic. Immediately, frustration might arise, but instead of honking or venting your rage, you pause and ask, is it worth relinquishing my inner peace over this moment? Did they do it intentionally, or was it simply a thoughtless mistake? Stoicism trains you to examine your emotional triggers, letting you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Over time, you'll notice your emotions serving you as signals rather than becoming tyrants. 9. Don't seek approval from the crowd. Epictetus cautioned that chasing external validation is a losing game. When you measure your worth by how others perceive you, you forfeit control over your own happiness. The crowd's opinions are fickle, influenced by trends, biases, and shifting social norms. Instead, the Stoics encourage you to cultivate your own moral and intellectual standards. Ask yourself, am I living according to my values and reason? Did I act virtuously regardless of whether people applauded or criticized me? When your self-esteem stems from an internal moral framework, you become less vulnerable to public praise or condemnation. You are guided by principle rather than by popular opinion. This liberates you from the emotional roller coaster of seeking approval and prevents the opinions of others from dictating your sense of self. 10. Embrace obstacles as lessons. In Stoicism, challenges are seen as opportunities to practice virtue. Think about tough situations you've survived, perhaps a financial setback, a broken friendship, or a health scare. Those experiences, although painful at the time, can become catalysts for growth in patience, perseverance, and self-awareness. Epictetus would remind us, every difficulty in life presents us with an opportunity to turn inward and to invoke our own submerged inner resources. The trials we endure can and should introduce us to our strengths. Rather than curse hardships, the Stoic approach is to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I become stronger? By seeing each obstacle as a chance to sharpen your character, you transform your mindset from victimhood to empowerment. This crucial shift can insulate you from despair when life tests you. 11. Maintain a grateful mindset. For Stoics, gratitude isn't merely an emotion you feel spontaneously, it's a deliberate practice. In every situation, no matter how challenging, look for something positive or instructive. Perhaps you faced a big disappointment. You might still find gratitude for the lessons learned, the people who supported you, or even for small comforts you enjoyed along the way. This ongoing practice of counting blessings, even amid hardships, stabilizes your emotional state. It reminds you that the universe is not all gloom. There's always something worth appreciating, even if it's the breath in your lungs or a single beam of sunlight through the window. Gratitude, when nurtured consistently, acts like an inner anchor that keeps you from drifting into negativity or despair. 12. Speak and think clearly. Epictetus advocated for precise, truthful communication, both with others and with oneself. Why? Because vagueness, gossip, and lies distort reality and provoke mental confusion. When your words and thoughts aren't clear, you create misunderstandings that can spiral into conflict or anxiety. Cultivating clarity starts in your inner dialogue. Are you being honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses? Are you exaggerating your problems? Next, consider your interactions with others. Do you inflate stories or slip into idle gossip? The Stoic approach is to keep both your thought process and your speech free from unnecessary drama or deception. In doing so, you foster a straightforward, transparent life, minimizing the emotional friction caused by illusions and misunderstandings. 13. Reflect daily on your actions. Epictetus encourages daily self-examination. Each evening, pause and ask yourself what you did well, where you fell short, and how you can improve tomorrow. This reflection is not meant for self-flagellation, but for sober, constructive assessment. By checking in regularly, you sustain a heightened awareness of your habits, both good and bad. Small lapses in discipline are caught before they snowball into major issues. Positive actions become reinforced as you recognize and celebrate them. This cyclical process of introspection and adjustment sharpens your moral and mental compass, ensuring steady progress rather than haphazard growth. Over time, you become more thoughtful, more deliberate, and more aligned with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, moderation, and justice. 14. Rehearse. Calm in minor annoyances. Day-to-day life is filled with small irritations: waiting in line, dealing with slow internet, encountering rude behavior. These are excellent training grounds for Stoic composure. If you can remain calm when the stakes are small, you're preparing yourself to remain composed when bigger problems arise. Epictetus would remind his students that every inconvenience is a practice session for the mind. If you can handle a traffic jam without succumbing to anger, you reinforce a habit of calm. Then, when you face more significant disruptions, like job loss or a serious argument, you're more likely to respond with the same level-headedness. This principle underscores the incremental nature of Stoic training. Bit by bit, day by day, you condition yourself to remain unruffled, so that nothing can truly affect your inner state. 15. Align your will with nature or reality. Finally, Epictetus taught that tranquility arises from aligning your will with how the universe actually operates, rather than wishing it were different. Nature is indifferent to our preferences. Seasons change, people come and go, fortunes rise and fall. Accepting this flow does not imply passivity. It simply means you do your best within the conditions that exist, rather than fighting against them. When you align with reality, you stop exhausting yourself over things that simply are. For example, you don't waste energy lamenting that things shouldn't be this way if they already are. Instead, you concentrate on how to adapt and respond ethically. This acceptance fosters peace and freedom. No matter how chaotic the outer world, you remain in harmony with the fundamental truth that life is in constant flux, and your power lies in how you navigate it. We've journeyed through 15 Stoic principles that Epictetus championed, each one a potent antidote to life's chaos and uncertainty. By recognizing what is and isn't within your control, voluntarily embracing discomfort to build resilience, grounding yourself in the present moment, and reflecting on your actions each day, you develop an unshakable mind. You learn to flow with the ever-changing currents of life rather than fight them. Remember, Stoicism isn't about a single eureka moment. It's a daily practice, a continuous striving to refine your thoughts, manage your emotions, and uphold your virtue. Imagine the peace that arises when you're no longer at the mercy of external events or other people's opinions. Each principle you've heard today can be your stepping stone toward that unbreakable, centered state of mind. If you found value in these teachings, consider sharing this video, hitting the like button, and subscribing for more insights on Stoicism, philosophy, and self-improvement. Keep these principles close, revisit them often, and watch how your mindset transforms over time. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Epictetus and the power of Stoic wisdom. Until next time, stay composed, stay reflective, and keep walking the path of true inner freedom.